2023 has been a solid year for two-wheelers with some strong and exciting launches. I mean, a lot of them were delayed by the pandemic, but they have finally made it through the pipeline. And as you can look around me, it was clearly the year of the middleweights. Today, we are going to pit them against each other and find out which one takes the crown. Reliance General Insurance presents the Autocar Awards 2024 in partnership with the Times Network with tire partner Vegada Tires. The Autocar India Bike of the Year award is reserved for brand new motorcycles manufactured in India in the past year. The winner needs to be an all-new product, and there are various parameters being judged, including performance, design, value for money, and the ownership experience. For a bike to win this award, it needs to be a fresh and exciting product, but it also must offer an appealing overall package that excels at its intended role. The full list of this year's contenders are the Harley X440, Hero Karizma XMR, Honda Shine 100, KTM 250 Duke, KTM 390 Duke, Royal Enfield Himalayan 450, Royal Enfield Super Meteor 650, Royal Enfield Bullet 350, Triumph Scrambler 400X, Triumph Speed 400, and TVS Apache RTR 310. We've narrowed this list down to the top contenders for the jurors to pick from. But before we get to that process, let's meet our jury members. Our jury is represented by experts within their respective fields. These are motorcyclists who not only understand the product but also have a keen insight into the average consumer's needs and desires from the bikes they buy. Rajni Krishnan is a familiar face and a valued member of our jury. He is India's most successful motorcycle racer to date, having won 11 racing championships in India as well as international superbike championships in Malaysia and Qatar. Next up, we also have Rishad Modi, editor bikes, and Zaran Modi, senior correspondent at Autocar India. Before we begin the riding and evaluation, the jurors take a closer look at the bikes and discuss some of the key standout points that this year's list of contenders have to offer. With the jurors having gone over the smaller details, it's time to start riding before we ultimately get down to the scoring process. This is one of the strongest lineup of contenders we have ever had. So let's hear what the jurors think, starting with the smallest capacity bike here, the Hero Karizma XMR.
Top end is strong, bottom end is quite weak. Riding position, nice and comfy, much better than the R15, which is its intended target. I think it's a nice looking bike as well, but the sense of quality and finish does need to improve.
With the Karizma, Hero's done a good job of giving you an everyday sports bike. You've got enough performance to keep you happy and entertained, but you're still sat quite comfortably and it's not too hard on you. I do wish it looked a little more special though, especially things like missing out on an upside down fork, especially when the smaller Extreme 160 gets one, is a bit of a sore point, and quality levels could improve a little as well.
Hero's new 210 has definitely proved to be impressive, but now let's move up from 210 to 250cc, where we come across another bike that is surprisingly good fun to ride.
The downshifter, upshifter is there, and there are a lot of technology. Okay, the technology used, even the vibration is very less. The new engine and the chassis is very good.
The previous Gen 250 Duke was probably my least favorite in the KTM family, and this bike has completely turned that around. It really was a surprise. Yes, it's not as fast and manic as the 390, but as an overall package, I think this bike is actually sweeter to ride. It's kinder at lower speeds, it's much smoother, you can ride it more gently, but when you ride it hard, there's a lot of fun in this motorcycle. Very nice chassis, great package overall.
It's actually an all-new motor, and that has made all the difference. Now it very much feels like a scaled-down 390 Duke. It's a fun motorcycle, you have a great time riding it quickly, and I think KTM has done a great job here. You've also got quite a lot of features. You're now getting a quick shifter on a 250 for the first time, which is also quite impressive.
The next bike is the long-awaited naked sibling to the TVS Apache RR 310.
There's a lot to like about the new RTR 310. I think it's a very nice looking motorcycle, striking design, very well feature equipped if you opt for the higher feature variants. Performance, well, I think that is an area where this engine does struggle a little bit. It's a little more powerful than the old bike, but it doesn't match up to the 400s that have 40 horsepower. It also has quite a few vibrations. The lower variant is priced really well, quite close to the KTM 250 Duke, and that is a good deal. But if you go for more features, higher variants, and you start optioning the BTO packs, it can cost above 3 lakh rupees, and it's out of its depth at that point.
What really impacts you here is that gearing has been shortened quite dramatically. So an engine that was already a little buzzy and busy now feels even more so. Aside from that, I think the chassis package is great. There are a lot of innovative features here. But I think the engine is a weak link in this package.
From the sporty TVS, we move on to something a whole lot more laid back, the new Bullet 350.
The Bullet 350 is a bike I'm very fond of, and that's probably because the Classic 350 is a bike I'm also very fond of, and this is essentially the same thing. It's a really heartwarming, very nice motorcycle, but not really anything new for 2023.
The Bullet is a very pleasant, charming, likable motorcycle. It doesn't have many shortcomings, but you do wish it had a stronger Bullet identity of its own.
Even city ride is very cool, and I feel more comfortable seating position, and especially for engine, new engine, no, that very smooth, and you can go cruise very smoothly inside the city.
Now it's time to get to the bigger things. Every bike here on has close to 400cc if not more. We begin with the thrilling new KTM 390 Duke.
This is the performance rockstar of 2023. So much fun to ride. It's faster than before. This is the quickest Indian motorcycle we've ever tested 0 to 100, 5.2 seconds. And it's full of equipment and features. I really like this motorcycle, but there are some drawbacks. For one, I think there are quite a few vibrations, especially at the lower RPMs. And two, it's just a smaller bike than it was. It's not as spacious as it was. And for someone tall or large riders, this may feel like too compact a motorcycle.
I think at its core, the 390 Duke has always been about fun, and this new one with the larger engine is still a very fun motorcycle, perhaps even more so because the performance is now more usable, but they have managed to polish quite a lot of the rough edges as well. Ride quality in particular is a big area of improvement.
Yeah, the power is very good. Even quick shifter is very smooth. I feel maybe even you can ride in the road, you can ride in the racetrack.
While the KTM is all about big thrills, the new Triumph Speed 400 focuses on quality, sophistication and value. This is surely one of the big contenders this year.
I think what strikes you about the Triumph Speed 400 is just what an easy motorcycle it is. The performance is easy, the handling is easy, it's easy on you, it's comfortable to be on. You've got quite a lot of performance, but you don't have to work very hard to extract it. It rides wonderfully, it's comfortable to sit on, it's light, nimble, sharp, agile. I think it's a winner on most fronts here.
Triumph Speed 400, definitely one of the standout motorcycles this year, definitely one of the big contenders for Bike of the Year. And for so many reasons, it's a great looking machine, beautiful finish, lovely quality, lovely attention to detail, and the price, amazing. Some things that could be better, I think it's a little too small for its own good, especially the fuel tank, it feels a little too slim. High RPM performance on this engine, there's a lot of vibrations, which means it's not great out on the highway, but it is lovely in the city.
The overall package is very good bike to buy this in city.
The Scrambler 400X is closely based on the Speed, but it will appeal to a different crowd. Here's what the jury members think.
Still feels slim and long like the Speed, but you're sitting higher up, so in traffic this gives you the commanding view that's always nice. The engine is very nice at lower speeds, very tractable, lots of bottom end torque, not so nice at highway speeds. I don't really like these tires, but beyond that, it's a perfectly likable motorcycle, and at 2.6 lakhs, it's good value. But the point is, when you compare to the Himalayan, that is a little more tempting because you got more features on the Himalayan and more capability.
If I have one bone to pick with it, I wish it was a little more approachable. It's only supposed to be a scrambler, not a hardcore off-roader, so the 835mm seat height is a little on the higher side for someone of my build.
Now we move on to a bike that proved to be hugely popular in 2023 when it first debuted, the hero-made Harley Davidson X440.
In the budget-wise, price-wise, very good, but engine is very smooth. Riding portion needs change a little bit.
Hero and Harley have done a great job of capturing that Harley essence and scaling it down to this single-cylinder platform. It's a meaty motorcycle, you feel commanding when you're on it. At the same time, it's not terribly difficult to manage, it's quite alright. I think it does a great job between bridging the gap between the more easygoing bikes like the Classic 350 and the sprightlier machines like the Triumph Speed 400.
The chassis and the engine is really nicely done. The engine has lots of character, faster beat than the Royal Enfield, and that gives it some involvement. It also sounds really nice. I do think the styling could be better, the finish definitely could be better, and the price, when it was unveiled, it was very good. Today, the price does seem a little bit high.
Moving up just a few cc's, we arrive at another bike that has been eagerly awaited for years and one that also proves to be a strong contender this year, the all-new Himalayan 450.
I think the Himalayan is the most impressive motorcycle that Royal Enfield has produced to date. There's a terrific chassis package, a very capable engine, and overall, I'm a big fan.
Yeah, the Enfield day by day, is giving a very good bike to market. When you're sitting the ride, they're very easy to ride the bike. I feel the suspension is very good, and the engine also, no, especially for the tuned very properly, the very smooth.
Himalayan 450, another big contender for bike of the year, and it's a big bike as you can see. Now where the Triumph Speed 400 is a little too small, you could argue that this is a little too big. I think that smaller, less experienced riders will find this to be an intimidating machine. If you have experience of riding big bikes, that's not a problem. The capability in here is fabulous. You've got a very nice chassis, amazing suspension, strong engine. This thing is quicker than the Triumph in our tests, which was a surprise. Highway performance is really good. I think one of the few downsides is that there are some vibrations between 100 to 120. But overall, this is a very capable motorcycle, on-road, off-road, very well equipped, and it comes at a very tempting price.
And the final bike in our top contender list is also another Royal Enfield, this time the Super Meteor 650.
I think depending on where you live and what the roads around you are like, the Super Meteor can be either quite a lovely motorcycle or one that's a little difficult to live with. And that's primarily down to the fact that ride quality is its Achilles heel.
Yeah, I feel you can cruise, but you can not able to ride in the city. Maybe the cruise bike, you can do long tour, maybe something, you can go maybe 1,000 kilometers, very easy.
First of all, this is a fabulous looking motorcycle. They've nailed the proportions, really nice quintessential cruiser design. Then there's the engine, classic, really nice motor, 650cc, makes all the right sounds, feels good, smooth, lovely to ride. The only drawback to this motorcycle is that the suspension doesn't really seem like it was built for India. On bad roads, this bike will give your back a beating.
And that brings us to the end of another exciting round. It really has been a very special year for the motorcycle enthusiast, and picking a winner will be even more difficult than normal. Nevertheless, after much deliberation, the scores are in, and it won't be long before we announce who has taken the top spot.